I'm Larissa McLean Davies, and I'll be talking to you. I'm from the Graduate School of Education. So, like our colleagues at Deakin and La Trobe and Monash, we're delighted to be part of this project and to be thinking about the way in which we improve pre-service teacher education particularly. So for us, it really begins with the students. So we often talk to our pre-service teacher candidates about the importance of focusing on the individual learner, and so in this project it gives us the opportunity to think about our students and their pre-service teacher education. So like our colleagues, we've been thinking a lot about what we are currently doing. We're delighted it's giving us the opportunity to work closely with our colleagues in the Faculty of Sciences, but also of course with our colleagues in other universities, to think about how we can continue to improve the experience of maths and science teaching. So one of the things that I'd like to talk about today is the thinking we've been doing around primary teacher candidates, and particularly how we might support them to become confident and competent. And we noticed from Steve's first part of the presentation that that's a real need, that we have primary teachers who are not feeling well equipped to teach maths and science in their classrooms. So a lot of our thinking has been towards that particular innovation and how we might leverage this project to really support that. And so we're going to be developing maths and science majors, which we mean half a year focused on the teaching of maths and science with our primary candidates. And that's led to a lot of really exciting development in new subjects. So our colleagues in education and in sciences have been working together to think what these new subjects will look like. And we've introduced that this year in 2014 for our new cohort, our incoming cohort. Now obviously these subjects will continue to be developed, but we've had great enthusiasm for that. So not only will new subjects be developed, and our colleague Christine Redmond has been taking a lead with developing particular work around an elective on flight, which will take place in schools, but we're also thinking about the practicum experience as well. So not just the development of academic subjects, but obviously the way in which we might strategically place our maths and science teachers so they are given the best kinds of opportunities, and that will have obviously a flow-on impact into the work that teachers currently are doing in schools. So that's been a really key part of our initiative and an exciting innovation, I think, that we're able to begin with right now. The other part of that is, of course, in thinking about the pre-service teacher education experience in the primary years, is to think about our work with our partners, with GTAC and with Bio21, and thinking how they might, in fact, that close collaboration might be able to enhance through this idea of particular majors that our primary students will be engaged in, and the kind of practicum experience we can offer them. So it sounds very similar, and when we listen to the presentations we all sound very much aligned in terms of things that we think are important. So that's just one, I guess, innovation that we are thinking about, but if you consider that the student is at the heart of all of this, really all of those innovations do come together when we're thinking about our teacher candidates. So with that, I'm going to pass on to Michelle, who will talk a bit about our focus from the science side of the operation.
Thanks, Larissa. And I'm wanting to talk a little bit about how the science and education staff are collaborating on some of these innovations, because I think that's one of the most exciting aspects of this project, not just from the point of view of the success of the project, because clearly it's embedded in the principles in which the project is being set up, but also because I come from a Faculty of Science. I'm part of a broader science community in the University of Melbourne that includes people from engineering faculties, land and environment, medicine, etc. And for us, the project offers opportunities to be engaged in pre-service teacher education in a very, very new way. And also we are very, very much going to be benefiting, of course, from the success of projects like this in improving the flow through of science, really well-equipped students coming through from primary into secondary into tertiary that are going to be important students for us as we go forward as well. And so that's really a lot of the motivation for us, is being engaged and being able to communicate and enthuse pre-service teachers about the sorts of science that is cutting edge and contemporary science, and for them to embed that in the teaching that they do as well. So there are numbers of ways in which the science people are going to be engaged. So in the primary majors that Larissa has been talking about, those new subjects are going to include people from the sciences as part of the development of those subjects and teaching of those subjects as well. And so we'll be very much part of the team in that. We've also been talking about opening up to pre-service teachers some of the subjects, and I know Monash is thinking about this being part of their contribution as well, opening up subjects that are likely to be areas that science teachers or primary teachers even haven't had an opportunity to study themselves during their undergraduate program. And to not just have students come in to do science subjects as they are, but to have collaborations between science and education staff in thinking about how to adapt, complement the science which is being taught, the science which is being learned by our students, with thinking directly about how you might implement really exciting ways to implement the teaching of those and having really good learning experiences for students. So it's that combination of learning science and thinking about how you're going to implement it at the same time that's going to be bringing up that partnership possibility as well. And one of the benefits that's going to be coming out of that too is something that we hope will have an impact on the pipeline of really excellent students coming out of our tertiary courses and really taking the opportunity to become pre-service teachers and ultimately teachers themselves. By having pre-service teachers and science students learning science side by side, as well as the science students seeing the pre-service teachers thinking on the spot about how they're going to implement that, we're hoping that bringing together of those students will be encouraging the science students to be thinking really seriously about teaching as a profession for themselves. There are opportunities elsewhere in the curriculum for that to happen, but I think it's a really important way that we can use this project to be not just improving the pre-service teaching training as we prepare those teachers, but also to be building that pipeline of students that are coming through from the tertiary programs and really enthusing those people to be taking up those opportunities as teachers. So a number of the other innovations that I know a number of us are thinking about will be focusing on getting science students into the classroom while they're undergraduate students to be enthused about the possibility of that for themselves as well.